Spooky season is more upon us than
Spooky.
ever before. Halloween is this week. We will have our 323 Halloween special. It's going to be a special edition of Ricks versus Bricks. You are going to want to subscribe to the 323 network on YouTube and go watch us on Thursday. Do these picks and talk about whatever because it's a Halloween show. What could that possibly mean visually? The audio audience, if you're just sticking to the audio, man, I don't know what you're doing. You're going to be missing something. It's going to be fun. Travis Byron will be here as our guest picker, but
Can't
we're
wait.
going to have some fun Halloween top fives to get into. But I need to spark it up a little bit, right? And make a little cross in Halloween and athletes here. And I thought about something, while watching Derrick Henry. I can't help but think of how terrifying he is as a person. And also, new to this, Ashton Genty, the boogeyman. He's literally called the boogeyman because he stands there like Michael Myers. And he is just a terrifying, terrifying athlete. And I wanted to do for spooky season a quick top 5 list, which is a theme of the Sunday hangover. It's part of us. It's in us. I wanted to do...
Now go.
So close. The top 5 scariest athletes of all time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You would usually be ready for that beat, that drop, but no, we've got spooky music under us this time. Yeah, buddy. Get that shit. Something to just get us flagged now that we're, starting to gain some popularity and steam.
Not copyright.
On spot. Let me give you something scarier than copyright officials. And that is the top 5 scariest athletes of all time. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this and on my list, and if there's anybody that I missed here, because right off the bat on the OLIs, the honorable mentions here, of course, like I already mentioned him, Ashton Genty, the boogeyman himself from Boise State. He's pretty much the namesake of this list here. Meanwhile, Derrick Henry didn't make the list. As terrifying as he is, as terrifying as he runs, he's built like a linebacker, but runs like a fucking Clinton Portis, the first running back that could come to mind. Not making the list. And also, Brock Lesnar, WWE superstar, but also a UFC champion, too. Brock Lesnar is a terrifying looking human being. He did not make the cut just quite on this list. I will tell you, number 5, though, number 5 is somebody who, as a Washington fan, I've only known the legends. I didn't get to see it happen, and thankfully I didn't watch it happen. But the leg breaker himself, the quarterback killer, Lawrence Taylor. LT of the New York Giants, one of the fiercest defensive players of all time. Lawrence Taylor, terrifying, horrifying athlete, one of the best. Could have been cocaine-fueled, allegedly. I'm not going to throw that out, but he's a Giants player, so fuck him. They can all take those allegations. LT is number 5 on there. Number 4, I'm throwing it to baseball. I'm giving baseball some respect here. That's pitcher Randy Johnson. Not only did he have a just terrifying pitch, 102 miles per hour, which was crazy back in the day, birds fear that man to this day. Birds still talk about him. He famously just popped a bird in the middle of one of his pitches, which is like, I don't know what the odds are for that to have happened, but that fucking thing exploded. Feathers all over the place. Locked in trauma forever. Randy Johnson is a deserving candidate for its most terrifying athletes of all time.
That seems like it'd be a good question for ChatGPT.
Figure it out, AI. You can do everything else. Number 3, going back to football here, Ray Lewis. Not only a fearsome, pretty much mad dog of a linebacker, one of the greatest of all time, I always call Max Crosby a feral dog, a feral pit bull, running loose on the streets, going after you. Ray Lewis was that. Ray Lewis was a crazy man, just in the fear that he would throw out to you on his pregame dance and his pregame routine to get the crowd hyped, to get himself hyped up. That dude was fearsome. He was terrifying to every offense. You didn't know what he was going to do. You just knew he was going to fuck you up in some way. Ray Lewis is number 3 on there. Number 2, it's a name that should be mentioned more in the realm of fighting and the history of combat sports. This dude came up from the dirty, dirty underground, the dirty belly of Miami street fighting rings to get into the UFC, to become a champion, to become a special guest star on the Drake and Josh Christmas special. That is Kimbo Slice. Ooh. Kimbo Slice was a bad dude. God rest his soul. He is gone. He's passed away, but dude was a monster. He was terrifying to watch in those videos where he would fight anybody in the streets, and you would think that you're gonna die fighting that dude, especially once he got into the pros, once he got into the octagon. Dude was a monster. Kimbo Slice is what, and just the look at him. Just look at him. Fierce. Monster. Look at it. But he was awesome on Drake and Josh. You gotta love him for that. The number 1, though, it's uncontested. There is nobody who I think could ever stack up to the scariest athlete of all time. I don't think there's any debate here. There's no debate. Nobody could debate this. This is the most number 1 of number 1s of all time. The most fearsome, scariest athlete of all time is Iron Mike Tyson.
That's my number 1.
You could put him at 90 years old, put him outside, and put him next to you. I'm not touching it. Fuck that. Fuck that. He bit a dude's ear off. Like crazy feral Mike Tyson, when he really dipped into the ego and the domestic abuse and the drugs, the cocaine. He was talking about fucking dudes and scaring them through their nightmares. I was like, oh my God. Sir. And now Jake Paul wants that? At whatever his age is, I don't care if he had to step back from the Netflix fight for a couple months because I don't know, he might have had like hemorrhoids or something. But fuck it. That dude could lose a hand. I'm still not fighting him.
Mm-mm.
Not a chance. Mm-mm. Those are my top 5 scariest, spookiest athletes of all time. Thoughts, complaints, criticisms, concerns?
No. I was going to say Ron Artest, but no. Ron Artest is scary. He is on my list of top 5s. No, Mike Tyson is the clear-cut number 1. I can't think of anybody else that I wouldn't rather see in a dark alleyway late at night. I will say a couple that I would like to mention that whether they be all eyes on yours or top 5s of mine. Like I said, Ron Artest. I mean, aggressive defense, notorious incident with the fans. You know, you just never know what you're going to get out of him. Same thing with Dennis Rodman. Talk about unpredictable. Like you just never knew what was going to happen with Dennis Rodman. Let's go with Larry Allen, the late great Larry Allen.
Wow, yeah.
No, he looks like a big teddy bear, but that's a guy that you would not want to get in a fight with. And to kind of mirror Larry Allen in today's game, Trent Williams. Fuck that.
Oh,
Fuck that. No way. And then you know what? Give me Pedro Martinez.
That's an interesting one.
I mean, just a wily, fiery temperament of a guy. I mean, he throws old men on the ground and brawls.
Oh yeah.
So if you have no remorse of going after people 50 years your senior, everyone can catch those hands. It knows no discrimination.
And he is not talked about because you're not supposed to talk about him. He's just loose and free on the streets, going to his son's games now in Arizona. But there's a guy by the name of Marvin Harrison. We're talking about Marvin Harrison Sr. For years, I didn't know what was the deal, but Colts fans were very clear to say you should only say nice things about that man. He seems like a wonderful person, seems like a wonderful gentleman, very kind to the community. But if you fuck with him, apparently shit goes down. And you won't have to worry about fucking with Marvin Harrison again. That's all allegations. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Listen, he's
Right?
from Philly.
He is from Philly. He is
That's
from
all
Philly.
I'm saying, man.
And if you want to look into Ray Lewis, everything. I mean, there could be some fear that way if you're in a porta potty with him or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if we're gonna go with scariest athletes, you gotta look at the frame of reference as far as like, is it me that's scared? Is it you that scares? Is it hot dogs that are scared? Because if we're talking about hot dogs being scared, it'd be Joey Chestnut.
Oh yeah, and Mark Sanchez.
Yes, Mark Sanchez would be number 2.